Hi there. In the last video, we got the boards and the original boards and spine prepared for rebacking. And then yesterday, I measured the spine of both my volumes with, again, a strip of paper, shoulder to shoulder, and cut the spine stiffener out of cardstock, width of the spine, height of the boards. Okay. And then I transferred the outlines of the spine stiffener to my piece of leather, which I also measured to the book, made a pattern, cut it out. Okay, this is an artificially grained leather, but it kind of goes with what's already there. And it's here, so I'm going to use it. The next step is to pair this. Now, this is not going to be a pairing lesson per se, because you really need to work with pretty closely with somebody to really perfect your pairing, to get it in hand and be comfortable with it. I will say that the most important thing, keep going, thank you, that you need to know about pairing is that your knife has to be sharp enough to shave with. If your knife is sharp, you're 60% of the way there. Now, this is my paring knife, which this is my cat. Come on, Mort. Okay, so this has been transferred. Put this aside. This is my paring knife, which I've had for a whole lot of years. This is a German style paring knife, has a handle, has a slightly curved blade. And just to give you an idea, this is a new paring knife. So you can kind of see that this one's been used a lot. Now, just one thing I want to say is that all paring knives are handed. There are left-handed and right-handed paring knives. This is a right-handed paring knife. If you're a right-handed person, you're going to go like this. This actually is a left-handed paring knife. You can tell because the bevel is on the other side. Flat bevel. Okay, I got some of these in case I ever had left-handed students, which isn't as silly as it sounds. But yeah, so, you know, you can get quite a few years out of a knife if you're careful. Again, this is kind of my favorite style. I think I'm probably going to do a video soon explaining why all the stuff I use is German, you know. But in the meanwhile, we're just about ready to pair the leather. The one thing that I'm not going to do today, which I normally do, which is a bit of it's not a cheat, but it saves a little time. If you have a Charfix, you can do some of this with the Charfix and then finish it up by hand. But since, you know, my assumption is going to be that you don't have one, I'm just going to do this all by hand. So what I'm going to do is I need to pair a long bevel where it will go under the sides, and I need to pair the head and tail turn-ins so they will fold over nicely. Now, I'm a two-handed pairer. There are any number of ways of pairing leather. You can combine them, you know, whatever works for you. They can go, so anyway, I'm not even going to go there. But to start, I'm just going to say, tip of the blade goes on the stone. You have pitch and you have yaw. Okay, so you're moving through a couple of dimensions here. And the tip of the knife always stays on the stone. I like to work with two fingers on the knife. You need to hold the leather down firmly. You can't start at the very end. You have to start in a little ways. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to start pairing my edge. Now I drop the blade down, take a slightly wider cut. Got a hole there. This will happen. There we go. That's not real good. However, this is most of this is going to be covered up by the old sides. Same thing on the other side. And if you'll notice, I'm pressing down fairly firmly with the blade. In fact, this particular knife is very flexible, and you can actually see it bend as you put weight on it. I find it helpful. Let me go up a little bit. Watch tail. Now what I'm looking to do is to get a nice long bevel on the two long sides. So I'm going to come back. You can also, you can't do this with a straight blade, but if you have a paring knife with a curved blade, you can do a French style scraping motion. Got to keep your stone clean. If anything gets under there, you'll put a hole in it. Of course, I already put some holes in it, so there's that. This leather isn't really happy being pared, but it'll work. Left my strap in the drawer. All right, now I'm going to do the head and the tail for the turn ends. Now for this actually is fairly thin leather, so it's kind of turning over nicely. What you want here is you want it thinnest here, and here where it's going to be turned in over the boards. Something else to keep in mind is when you're learning this stuff, there's a temptation to try and practice on inexpensive leather. The problem with inexpensive leather is it generally isn't necessarily the right tannage, and it just pairs badly. I mean, even somebody who's got a lot of practice can have trouble with a lot of the less expensive leathers. One of the reasons we like vegetable tan leather for binding is it's nice and firm, and goat skins especially can pair very sympathetic to being paired. Let's put it that way. All right, so this is a little bit thin, a little bit thicker here, thinner here. And as you can see, I didn't mention this before because I said this wasn't going to be a pairing lesson, but when I'm pairing, in general, not all the time, but in general, I steer with my right hand and I apply motive force by pressing with my left hand, by pushing with my left hand. I find that it gives me the maximum amount of control, which is crucial because once you start using leather, you know, it was never inexpensive and now it's less inexpensive. So you want to make it go as far as you can. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good. So let me just do a little bit more on this side. See if I can get it down a little lower. There we go. By the way, chrome tan leather is very difficult to pair. It's stretchy. Alum talk can be a problem too. Calf is nice, but calf has a little layer of something down in the middle, and it can kind of give you a little surprise if you're not careful. And even if you are careful, you know, you'll be pairing along and all of a sudden the knife will slip and you'll get a little hole in your skin, which is not cool. So again, it's much of this, like everything else, it's a matter of practice. Okay, this will work. I'm going to reestablish the lines on here, and then the next video, I will reestablish the lines if I can find my pen. The next video will actually be the rebacking process. Okay, so that's that. I will see you next time. Thanks a lot.